Hello, the Master here. Today I'll be talking about all the unused content for FNaF World, the cute spin-off for a series that's known to have scary content related to it. Anyways, there was quite some stuff that went unused for the game completely, and even an entire area for the game being unused. Anyways, let's just begin with the unused content present in the FNaF World trailer. So there was quite some stuff that wasn't present in the final game. So first of all, the trailer for FNaF World contained this 3D world completely different from the one you know. And this was before the game being updated to have a 3D overworld to it. All the sprites in the overworld from the trailer are much bigger, and the camera is much zoomed in at Freddy. And also basically every single sprite is different. And to be honest, this makes me think that FNaF World didn't even have this in the first place, and this was just an animation made in the 3D software and not in the actual game. Alright, moving on from that, there was quite some enemies that went unused in the final game. The first shown in the trailer is the early version of the match wrap, which instead of being pink was golden tinted. There was also this early version of the prototype that is normally seen in the 5th area of the game. Well, they are completely different in this trailer, having a different set of colors and also having a different animation. Lastly, for the enemies, there is this unused version of Brow Boy that was found in the game's files. So apparently, Brow Boy was originally going to be a regular enemy instead of a boss. And well, those are all the known unused enemies for the game. Okay, now moving on to the unused sound effects and music. And there isn't too much that is publicly known, sadly. There's only one unused song that apparently was going to be for a now scrapped area for the game called Ice Cave, and with the song being the same name. Take a listen. While apart from that, there's only one other unused sound, which was for update 2, and it's just JJ saying this.
Now I'm going to kick your ass! Wait, what? I can't say that in the game.
Alright, now talking about unused text hidden in the game's code. The first one here is, quote unquote, well, congratulations, you beat a fictional monster from a fictional game. Bravo, big deal. In all the endings, this text would be hidden in the codes. The second text was, quote unquote, the end one, which also in all of the endings would be present off screen. The last unused text was, quote unquote, if you keep following him, you will only finish a story. There is something more important for you to do. This unused text was from a dialogue with Fredbear, and it would be the last thing he says the first time he tells the player to find the clock. However, due to an error in the programming, the game instead automatically brings the player to the loading screen when it appears, since it is the last string of text. Alright, for the next category of this video, I'll be mixing a lot of stuff into the miscellaneous textures, features, or whatever, since there isn't too much for me to separate the topics. Because for example, there's only one unused attack for the game, which was the Toxic song, and that literally had no code, so Scott probably scrapped that attack earlier in the game's development. Another unused content that didn't get coded was an unused chip called Haunting, which would attack and freeze an enemy. And there's one more unused chip called the Slow Start enemies, and given the name of the chip, it would likely have given the enemies a debuff of speed for a short time at the start of battles. Alright, the next one actually got coded, but it eventually got scrapped, which was the poison status that was meant to be played when your foes got inflicted with the poison status. But it was never used, probably because in the final game, the enemies are individually poisoned. Alright, now talking about this new sprite for the cupcakes attacking the game. It used to have this sprite with it being smaller, having a different lighting, and having a different animation. Okay, let's talk about some strange stuff found in the game's files. First, there's this stars images that has been present ever since the original game, and each of them becomes visible upon getting the 3 endings: normal mode, hard mode, and the cheaper revenge ending. But for some reason, they are off screen. Secondly, there's this image of a strange open box from FNaF 4, which is seen out of frame in the sub-tunnel sections, and there's no actual coding for the object. The less unused content was a feature that would show how much strength a character has, although it is never shown to be used in the game. Okay, so that's mostly all the unused content for FNaF World, and to be honest, I was expecting way more than that, and I got a little bit disappointed, but the open chest sprite was very interesting. Anyways, if y'all want me to continue making those kinds of videos, subscribe, like, and let me know, because I really like making those kinds of videos. I also want to shout out the cutting room floor for pretty much all of the information I took for the video. Anyways, with that being said, I will be ending the video here. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and goodbye.